It was a quiet, peaceful day on Earth. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and people were going about their usual business. No one expected what was about to happen. Far up in space, hidden from Earth's eyes, something was approaching. A massive fleet of alien ships slowly moved toward the planet, their engines humming with power. These aliens were part of the Galactic Empire, known across the stars for conquering planets and enslaving their people. They had finally set their eyes on Earth. The aliens believed Earth was an easy target. In their eyes, humans were weak and had no chance against their advanced technology. Their ships were huge and powerful, with weapons that could destroy entire cities in minutes. The alien leader, a cold and ruthless commander named Zarnok, watched from his command ship as Earth grew larger in the viewports. "Prepare for landing," Zarnok ordered his crew. He was confident this would be another quick victory for the Empire. "These humans won't stand a chance." The fleet slowly descended through Earth's atmosphere, their massive ships casting dark shadows on the ground below. People looked up in fear and confusion as the alien ships filled the sky. Panic spread quickly across cities, towns, and villages. News of the alien invasion flashed on screens all over the world. Governments scrambled to respond, but they had no idea how to fight such an advanced enemy. The first alien ship landed in a large open field just outside a major city. Its metal hull gleamed under the sunlight as the ground shook from its enormous weight. The door slowly opened, and from it came hundreds of alien soldiers, all heavily armed and ready for battle. These soldiers looked terrifying to the humans watching from afar. They were tall, with dark gray skin, glowing red eyes, and armor that seemed unbreakable. The alien soldiers spread out, securing the area and preparing for the next wave of ships. Their orders were clear: take control of Earth no matter the cost. Zarnok watched from his command ship, pleased with how smoothly the invasion was going. So far, there was no real resistance from the humans. Everything was going exactly as planned. As more alien ships landed across the planet, something strange began to happen. Far beneath the Earth's surface, in places no human or alien could see, the ground began to rumble. Deep inside the Earth, the planet's volcanoes, which had been quiet for years, started to wake up. The pressure below the ground was building, but neither the aliens nor the humans noticed. To them, it was just a slight tremor, easily ignored. Zarnok's focus remained on the invasion. "Send more troops," he commanded, his voice full of confidence. "We will take this planet by nightfall." The alien soldiers marched forward, pushing deeper into human territory. They expected little resistance, just like every other planet they had conquered. But something was different about Earth. As the aliens moved across the land, the tremors under the ground grew stronger. Still, the aliens didn't care. They had no idea what was coming. While humans watched in fear and uncertainty, the ground beneath them was preparing for something big. The Earth, quiet and calm for so long, was about to strike back. The volcanoes were waking up, and their power was far greater than anything the aliens had ever seen. For now, the aliens were unaware of the danger. They thought they had the upper hand. Zarnok believed victory was close. But deep inside the Earth, forces were stirring, ready to fight back in ways the aliens could never imagine. The invaders had come to conquer, but they were about to face the true wrath of the planet. The alien invaders continued their march across Earth, confident that nothing could stop them. Their ships hovered in the skies, watching over the cities they planned to take. The alien soldiers, with their advanced weapons and armor, pushed deeper into human territory. Zarnok, the alien commander, stood aboard his massive ship, watching everything from above. To him, the humans were too weak to fight back. Victory was close, or so he thought. But deep inside the Earth, something was happening. The ground beneath the alien soldiers' feet was growing restless. The volcanoes that had been quiet for so long were now beginning to rumble. The pressure beneath the surface was building rapidly, but the aliens didn't notice. They were too focused on their invasion. Suddenly, without warning, the Earth made its first move. A massive explosion erupted from a volcano in the distance, sending fire and ash shooting into the sky. The ground shook violently, and the air filled with the smell of burning rock. The alien soldiers stopped in their tracks, confused. They had never seen anything like this before. Zarnok's calm expression turned to concern as he watched the eruption from his ship's screen. "What is happening?" Zarnok asked his officers, his voice tense. "It appears to be a natural event, Commander," one of the officers replied. "The planet's surface is unstable. Zarnok frowned. He didn't like surprises, especially when they interfered with his plans. Keep moving forward. This changes nothing. But the Earth had only just begun to fight back. As the alien forces pushed onward, more volcanoes erupted across the planet. Huge clouds of ash filled the sky, blocking out the sun. Rivers of molten lava flowed down from the mountains, burning everything in their path. The ground shook with terrifying force, creating massive cracks that swallowed entire alien units. The aliens, who had once marched confidently, now struggled to maintain order. Panic began to spread among the alien soldiers. Their technology, so powerful in other invasions, was useless against the raw power of the Earth. The lava melted their armor and the ash choked their ship's engines. Explosions rocked the skies as alien aircraft lost control and crashed into the burning ground below. The humans, watching from afar, were stunned by the sudden change. It was as if the Earth itself had come to life, protecting them from the invaders. Zarnok's frustration grew with each passing minute. He slammed his fist on the control panel in anger. "Why is this happening now?" he shouted. "Earth was supposed to be an easy target." His officers scrambled to find answers, but there were none. The planet's natural forces were far beyond anything the aliens could control or predict. Zarnok stared at the screens in disbelief as more and more of his soldiers were wiped out by the eruptions. What had seemed like a simple invasion was quickly turning into a nightmare. The humans, realizing the aliens were losing control, began to regroup. They had been terrified at first, watching the invaders land on their planet. But now, with the Earth fighting back, they saw a chance to resist. Military forces around the world quickly mobilized, preparing for a counterattack. The aliens were strong, but they weren't invincible. And now, with the power of the volcanoes on their side, the humans knew they had a fighting chance. Zarnok, still on his ship, refused to retreat. His pride wouldn't allow it. "We will not be defeated by a primitive planet," he shouted. "Continue the invasion!" But even as he gave the order, more eruptions tore through the Earth. Lava, ash, and smoke filled the skies, and the alien forces continued to crumble. The planet was fighting back with a fury that no alien technology could withstand. Zarnok's invasion was falling apart, and he knew it. As the volcanoes roared and the Earth trembled, one thing became clear. The aliens had underestimated the power of this small blue planet. The situation on Earth was getting worse by the minute. What had started as a few volcanic eruptions quickly turned into a full-blown disaster for the alien invaders. Volcanoes were erupting all over the planet, sending ash, lava, and smoke into the air. The once blue skies were now dark and filled with clouds of ash, making it hard to see anything. The ground shook violently and cracks were opening up, swallowing entire alien units. Zarnok, the alien commander, stood in disbelief on the command deck of his ship. He had never seen anything like this before. His invasion was falling apart. The once organized alien soldiers were now scattered, running in all directions, trying to escape the chaos. Fear spread quickly through their ranks. These aliens, who had conquered dozens of planets before, were now facing something they couldn't control: Earth's raw, natural power. "Commander, we are losing control of the situation," one of Zarnok's officers shouted, his voice filled with panic. "Our soldiers are retreating and many of our ships are being damaged by the ash clouds and lava flows." Zarnok's face twisted with anger. He slammed his fist on the control panel. "We cannot retreat! This planet must fall!" he roared. But deep down, he knew things were going very wrong. His plans had been perfect, but Earth was proving to be far more dangerous than he ever imagined. Outside, the alien soldiers were in complete disarray. The once fearless invaders were now terrified as the destruction around them grew worse. Lava rivers flowed through their camps, burning everything in their path. The heat was unbearable, and the ground was shaking so much that it was hard for them to stand. Alien ships, which had been so powerful in the skies, were now falling apart. The ash from the volcanoes clogged their engines, causing them to crash into the ground or explode in mid-air. One alien soldier, tall and armored, looked around in horror as another ship fell from the sky, crashing into the ground with a deafening explosion. His heart raced. This wasn't what they had expected. They had thought Earth was weak, that it would be an easy victory. But now it seemed like the planet itself was fighting back, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. "Fall back! Fall back!" One of the alien commanders shouted to his troops, but it was too late. The earth was tearing them apart. The ground cracked open beneath their feet, swallowing groups of soldiers whole. Lava poured out, burning through everything. Explosions echoed through the air as more alien ships were destroyed. The once proud invaders were now in full panic. Zarnok watched in frustration from his command ship. He couldn't believe how quickly things had fallen apart. His invasion was supposed to be flawless, and now it was turning into a nightmare. He had underestimated Earth, and now his forces were paying the price. "Commander, we must retreat!" one of his officers begged. "We're losing too many soldiers, and our ships can't handle the volcanic eruptions." Zarnok clenched his fists, his pride refusing to accept defeat. "No! We will not retreat!" he shouted, though even he knew that staying any longer would mean total destruction. But it was already too late. The Earth was not letting up. The volcanoes kept erupting, stronger than ever. The ground was shaking so violently that even the alien command ship began to tremble. The destruction was growing, and the aliens were helpless against it. The humans, watching from their bunkers and shelters, couldn't believe what they were seeing. The invaders, who had come to conquer, were now running in fear. Earth's power was too much for them, and it was clear that the planet itself was the real force fighting back. As the destruction grew, the once fearless alien invaders had no choice but to panic. They had never faced a force like this, and for the first time, they realized they might not make it out alive. As the alien invasion crumbled into chaos, the humans began to find their strength. They watched in shock and awe as the Earth fought back against the invaders. Volcanoes erupted, shaking the ground, and the alien forces scattered like leaves in a storm. But now it was time for the humans to take action. They had seen enough destruction and panic. The planet was fighting for them, and it was time to fight for their planet. In every corner of the globe, military leaders gathered to plan their response. The chaos had shown them that they could not rely solely on nature. It was up to them to defend their homes and loved ones. Soldiers, scientists, and civilians all came together, united against the alien threat. They were determined to push back and show the invaders that Earth was not an easy target. General Harris, a seasoned military leader, stood in a command center filled with maps and screens. He looked at the gathered soldiers, their faces grim but resolute. "Listen up! The aliens think they can take our planet without a fight. They are wrong. We have a chance now with the Earth on our side. We need to strike while they are weak!" The soldiers nodded, filled with a new sense of purpose. They had been afraid when the aliens first landed, but now they felt empowered. They had seen the power of their planet, and they knew they had to do their part. Harris continued, "We will launch a counterattack. Use everything we have, planes, tanks, and whatever weapons we can find. The aliens are disoriented, and we must hit them hard." As the soldiers prepared, civilians also played their part. People gathered supplies and food for the military. Others helped to transport injured soldiers to safety. The whole world seemed to come together, driven by a shared purpose. The fear that had gripped them was replaced by a fierce determination to protect their home. In the skies, fighter jets took off, soaring high above the chaos. Pilots, filled with adrenaline, knew they had to act quickly. As they approached the alien ships, they saw the destruction below. Volcanoes continued to erupt, and alien ships were crashing into the ground. The aliens were losing control, but the humans were not going to let this opportunity slip away. "Squadron, prepare for attack!" the lead pilot shouted over the radio. The pilots responded with a chorus of agreement. They locked their weapons and aimed for the alien command ship, which hovered above the chaos. The pilots dove toward the enemy, their hearts racing with excitement. They released their missiles, targeting the alien ships. Explosions rocked the skies as missiles struck true, hitting the alien vessels. Smoke billowed as the ships began to spiral out of control. The humans cheered, feeling a surge of hope as they realized they were fighting back. On the ground, the soldiers pushed forward, storming alien positions. Tanks rolled through the streets, crushing alien equipment under their massive wheels. Soldiers worked together, using their training and teamwork to fend off the disorganized aliens. The chaos among the invaders gave the humans a crucial advantage. The humans fought fiercely, driven by the knowledge that their planet was alive and fighting alongside them. As they moved forward, they heard the distant rumbles of volcanic eruptions, reminding them of the strength of the Earth beneath their feet. Each step they took felt like a step toward victory. Back in the command center, General Harris received reports of their success. The aliens were in retreat, and the human forces were gaining ground. He felt a swell of pride. "This is our chance! We must not stop! Push them back to where they came from!" The battle raged on, but with each passing moment, the tide turned more in favor of the humans. The alien forces were disoriented and frightened. They had thought they could conquer Earth easily, but now they were faced with the full force of humanity fighting back. As the sun broke through the ash clouds shining down on the battlefield, it seemed as though hope was rising once again. The humans were ready to reclaim their planet. The battle for Earth was reaching its climax. The humans, filled with courage and determination, had pushed the alien invaders back. General Harris watched as his soldiers advanced, taking control of key positions and forcing the aliens to retreat. The tide had turned, and the alien commander, Zarnok, knew he had to make a choice. Inside his command ship, Zarnok paced back and forth, his heart racing with fear. The invasion had gone horribly wrong. His once powerful forces were now scattered and demoralized. Explosions rocked the area as human missiles struck his remaining ships. The ground trembled beneath him, and the ash-filled sky felt suffocating. Panic gripped his chest. "Commander, we can't hold our position any longer," an officer shouted, sweat dripping from his brow. "The humans are too strong. We must retreat." Zarnok hesitated, torn between pride and survival. Retreating felt like admitting defeat. But as he looked out at the chaos, he saw his troops fleeing in terror. The humans were gaining ground, and the Earth's volcanoes continued to erupt, sending shock waves through the alien ranks. He could no longer ignore the truth. "Prepare the ships for immediate departure," Zarnok ordered, his voice filled with urgency. "We must regroup and rethink our strategy. We cannot allow these humans to defeat us." As the command echoed through the ship, the remaining alien soldiers scrambled to gather their weapons and supplies. Panic spread like wildfire among them. They had never faced a challenge like this, and now they were desperate to escape. The once proud conquerors of many worlds were now running for their lives. On the ground, the human soldiers cheered as they saw the aliens beginning to retreat. "Keep pushing forward! Don't let them escape!" General Harris shouted, rallying his troops. The soldiers surged ahead, feeling the thrill of victory. They had fought hard, and now they could see the end of the invasion in sight. Fighter jets soared above, firing at the alien ships trying to lift off. Explosions lit up the sky as one ship after another was hit. The humans knew they had to prevent any alien vessel from escaping. This was their chance to protect Earth once and for all. Zarnok watched in horror as his ships exploded in mid-air one by one. The fear in his troops was palpable. They were losing the battle, and soon they would lose their chance to conquer Earth. With every explosion, his resolve weakened. "Launch the remaining ships! We cannot stay here any longer," Zarnok yelled, desperation clawing at him. His officers quickly complied, scrambling to get the ships ready for takeoff. But the volcanoes continued to erupt, and the ground shook violently, making it harder to escape. As the last alien ships began to lift off the ground, General Harris and his soldiers pressed on, determined to stop them. "We need to hit them hard," he commanded. "Aim for the engines! We can't let them get away!" With renewed energy, the human forces fired their weapons and missiles streaked through the sky. Some alien ships were hit as they attempted to take off, spiraling down into the chaos below. The humans cheered each time they scored a hit, feeling the excitement of victory wash over them. Zarnok, watching the destruction from his command ship, felt his heart sink. He realized that his dreams of conquering Earth were crumbling. The humans had proven to be far stronger than he ever expected. With a heavy heart, he gave the order to abandon the remaining ships. "Prepare to leave this planet! We will regroup and return," Zarnok shouted, his voice trembling with anger and defeat. As the last of the alien vessels fled into the sky, General Harris stood with his soldiers, watching the retreat. Cheers erupted among the humans as they realized they had won the battle. They had fought back against a powerful enemy and defended their home. The smoke and ash began to clear, and sunlight broke through the clouds. The Earth had survived, and so had its people. They looked up at the sky, feeling a sense of hope and unity. Together, they had faced a great threat and emerged victorious. As the aliens disappeared into space, the humans knew that this victory was just the beginning. They had shown that Earth was not a planet to be trifled with. They would always be ready to defend their home, united in strength and spirit.